were talking about the sculptures in the temples, which
Hmm.
depict sex as a divine thing, and Upanishads also talk about these things about when to have this communion and what is the right time and all this. What are the energies that come about, and mainly it is for progeny apart from the sexual pleasure and all that. Now, I was asking regarding the concept of live-in relationship and the same-sex marriages. So, whether the Upanishads have anything to say about this? Recently, we have seen that the government has passed a law for the LGBT relationship.
So we have to understand one thing is that the Hindu scriptures recognize the third gender. It's called as the Tritiya Prakriti. By birth, there will be some who will be born as male, some who will be born as female, and some who are classified as third gender. And they don't recognize it as a disease at all. Unfortunately, people think like that, but it is not recognized as a disease. Even in Ayurveda, the three doshas which they speak about, they will speak about three doshas for all the three, male, female, and the third gender. Because based on that body type, the treatment has to be given. So it's not that the third gender is a disease and that has to be corrected. It is a type of uh, orientation. The body orientation is there, and then of course the mind orientation is also there based on that. So the recognition of this is there, that there will be some people who will be like that. Now, it is not as a common trend promoted. What is explained in general is that any person goes through the four stages of life. So brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. And in that, the grahasthashram is very important for a common man. That grahasthashram is a very important stage of life, not only for the person as an individual, but also for the society, because the three other ashrams are supported by the grahasthashram. Brahmacharya, vanaprastha, and sannyasa are supported by grahasthashram. Second, the grahasthashram is also meant for ensuring that the person is able to fulfill one's desires in a dharmic way. So artha and kama can be pursued in a dharmic way through the grahasthashram, so that ultimately one rises above it, one gets vairagya, and slowly one moves into vanaprastha, learns to withdraw the mind, and ultimately in sannyas transcends body identification. So grahasthashram and marriage is a sacrament. Of the 16 samskars, marriage is one of the most important samskars, vivaha samskar. So the marriage will be promoted for the male and female together, because the understanding also is, as per the Vedic culture, the grahasthi cannot do a ritual if the person is not married. So the importance of the wife and the husband being there and doing it together is also mentioned in the Vedas, in the scriptures. And otherwise the person is incomplete. So there are many references in the Vedic literature which speak about man and woman being like the two wheels, and they both must go together in life. Then the vehicle of life moves forward. And marriage is that which ensures that they come together. And so the live-in relationships are not discussed in the Veda, as far as I know. Maybe I am wrong in some cases, because I am not a student of the Vedas completely. I am a student of Vedanta. But from what I have read about the 16 samskars and from the importance of marriage, etc., the choices given are only two. Either one recognizes that I must go through grahastha ashram and so get married, or I go through grahastha ashram, or I live as a bachelor through the whole life. Now, as a bachelor, I can live as whole life just as a bachelor, or if I feel I am ready, then I can even take sannyas. There is no discussion about live-in relationships where the bond of marriage is not there and they just decide to stay together. But everything that people generally associate marriage with is done by the people who are having a live-in relationship. So that is not discussed in the traditional literature as far as I know. We also know that Sanatana Dharma is changing by time. It is a very flexible culture, and so if one uh, finds that there is a certain necessity, then the culture is ready to adapt it. But of course, everything has its pros and cons, and this live-in relationship by itself is not promoted by the scripture, and society, because it is not promoted by the scripture, some aspects, some people in the society may also say it is not to be done. And there will be certain other consequences of that also, legality and inheritance and many other things, which today also the legal systems are figuring those things out. Okay, what, how does it work and all those things, because those are changed. But from scripture standpoint, that is not encouraged, because as I said, the choices are only two. If one has desires, fulfill it in a dharmic way, and the dharmic way is give a commitment and fulfill the duties as a householder, and the child who is there has a proper family. Otherwise, many challenges do come out in living relationships, and we see that happening. Sometimes the couple just splits, the child is, many times they don't want to have a child, or this premarital sex sometimes they have, and the child is aborted or child is abandoned. Many such things happen. So the scripture gives only these two: either go through grahastha ashram or live without committing into the system of marriage, and live as a brahmachari, that is called naishtik brahmachari, where it is not that one can do anything that one feels like. I'm a bachelor, so I can flirt with any girls and do anything. That is not permitted. That is promiscuous mixing, that is prohibited. Promiscuous mixing is prohibited by the Shastra very clearly. And either live as a Naishtik brahmachari, committing to brahmacharya, or live as a sannyasi, or get committed to marriage. That's the system that the scripture speaks about. As far as the live-in relationships is concerned, there is no promotion of that live-in culture at all. As far as same gender relationships are concerned, yes, that is also recognized in the scriptures, not promoted widely, because again it is supposed to be in the few people. So we will find two views on this. There are some scriptures which will condemn it also, and there will be punishment for it also. And there are some who have much more liberal views and who speak about same gender marriage also. So Kama Sutra will speak about it, Artha Shastra will condemn it, and there will be some punishments also. Sushruta Samhita is there, which speaks about it in terms of even the treatments, etc. And some in Sushruta Samhita, in some place it is even written that two females, when they unite, then there may be possibility of a child which will be boneless. Now I don't know biologically whether it is possible, not possible, but it's there, it's mentioned there. So different texts have a different opinion on it. Some condemn it so that one is not promoting that, and society doesn't take it as a normal rule. And some don't condemn it at all, and they say this is there, neither condemn it nor promote it, because they have their own reasons, and karmic reasons are there. So those who accept it, some of them will say that there is a karmic reason behind it, why they have come into this type of a body, in this type of mindset, and so one should recognize them. And that's why Ayurveda and all of them, they recognize the third gender, and there is no condemnation of that. What we are doing today is the condemnation part of it and criminalizing it, etc., is definitely not to be done, so that if they are genuinely having that temperament, They have the freedom to live their life, and society must accept that, not treat them as something which is some weird people or someone who are absolutely they have a disease. One doesn't need to do that. At the same time, one does not have to promote it so much that people start wanting to live like that when they are not having the temperament. Because as I said, the idea in Vedanta and in our spiritual literature is this, that each one ultimately has to rise above their own body identification to realize the happiness that is their true self. Now, if we promote it widely, those who are not even having that doubt, and those who are very clearly male or female, they are going to start wanting to explore all those possibilities, which again is going into the body level much more, which in Vedanta we say it is paradharma. It is not your swadharma. You are made as a human being who is a man or a woman, then live according to that. Or if you are a tritiya prakriti, live according to that. Now, if one is trying to explore some other things, what is the mindset? The mindset then is more of pleasure. And that pleasure mindset can only lead to more and more of grossification. So from the karmic standpoint and from spiritual evolution standpoint, one says that need not be done, because unnecessarily you are going into areas which are not required, and which will lead to its own consequences also, because existing vasanas you don't exhaust, new vasanas you are creating. So there is a whole reasoning behind that. So that's why spiritual literature doesn't promote that. If they are there, they are there, and they have a way to live, and that society can accept, and let them live in that way. No, neither condemnation nor promotion is the like we don't promote man or we don't promote a woman, but because the society has shunned this tritiya prakriti, them coming out in open and trying to trying to explain to people that this is who we are and we have all rights, that is a natural reaction that is happening, which the society also has to understand, that if they have been shunned, they have been condemned, they have been suppressed, then a backlash is going to happen. But we should be very clear about that. What is if the society learns to accept this faster, then it would normalize. That's all we need to do. Normalizing it has to get done. Complete promotion of that and going on telling people that why don't you explore, etc., that is not required. So that is what the view of the scripture is.
Yeah. Then in that case, since it's a, like you said,
No, sorry, I couldn't get the.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Huh.
Yeah. Since it's a karmic influence, and since it's a natural urge, there's nothing wrong about it or derogatory about it. So, was it a bad karma in the past? How would you say it's a karmic influence? Means, is it a papa punya thing or what?
No, so it's not bad. That's why I'm saying it is not to be treated as bad or good or bad or a disease or anything. Basically, what it is, that the desires of the people, they get mixed up, right? Because we are not born as human beings only all the time. We are born from in the evolution cycle, if we believe in that, then from unicellular up to first human being, so many species we have gone through. And even in human body, the animalistic tendencies continue, and that animalistic tendencies are for seeking pleasure and for survival of the fittest, and all those things are there. So in some life, somewhere one has entertained some desires where one wants to experience a certain type of pleasure with a certain gender, and there are certain other karmas where other types of pleasure with other genders have to be experienced. Now those desires have come together, and to fulfill those desires, specifically there is a specific body that this person needs. So that's how karmically they get the body. It's not that some papa is done, so there is a punishment, so this person is in third gender. It is not like that. Every body one gets as per one's karma. To exhaust the particular karma phala, one gets the body. And so it is in general, it is what it is said, is a very general rule that if papa is greater than punya, then one gets the lower realms of evolution, the asuric yoni and below human, one will get. If there is punya greater than papa, one will get deva yoni, yaksha yoni, gandharva yoni, all that. But if papa and punya are almost similar, then one gets the human. And in human there are three: man, woman, and the tritiya gender. So one should not condemn it saying that, oh, this is a papa yoni. It's not a result of papa at all.
Yes. Also, whether karma has an influence on whether you're born a man or a woman?
Karma only has influence. Without karma, one is not going to be born as any species. Forget man or woman.
Man or woman, that is determined by karma.
Completely, everything is determined by karma. Your mindset and the karma determines the body, determines the family, determines the country where one is born. Every single thing is determined by karma. There's
And
nothing
also.
ad hoc. Huh?
And the gender also.
100% gender also.
Okay.
Think about it. Why is a particular gender there? If the person, if that jiva has to go through a certain experience of childbirth and there is a connection between the child and the mother, that karmic connection has brought them together. So there is one jiva who is the mother, one jiva who is a child, and that's how they get the bodies. If that jiva does not have to experience that, the jiva will not be in the woman's body. Same way for a man. Same way for the tritiya gender.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om.